If you're careful with money, this video might quietly expose you. You probably think being careful is your strength. You don't overspend. You don't gamble. You don't make impulsive decisions. You plan. You save. You try to do things the right way. And because of that, you feel like you're ahead of most people. But here's the uncomfortable question. If being careful actually worked, why do so many people who do everything right still feel financially stuck? By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which safe habit quietly caps your financial future, and what replaces it. And once you see it, you won't be able to unsee it. Because being careful feels smart, responsible, grown up. It's the habit you're proud of. Welcome to Money Mind Fix. The habit your parents rewarded when you were younger. The habit teachers praised. The habit society tells you separates serious adults from reckless people. Save your money. Avoid mistakes. Don't take unnecessary risks. Be sensible. Be realistic. Follow those rules long enough, and you're promised stability, security, a decent life, not luxury, but comfort. And that's where the trap begins. Because what if that exact mindset, the one you trust the most, is the reason millions of middle-class people work hard their entire lives, yet never feel truly wealthy? Not broke, not desperate, just permanently close to freedom, but never quite there. This isn't about overspending. It's not about bad budgeting. And it's definitely not about being irresponsible. It's about a trap so normal, so socially approved, that almost nobody notices they're inside it. Point 1. The safety illusion. The middle class is built on one promise. Play it safe and you'll be fine. A stable job, a steady paycheck, predictable routines, a life that feels controlled. And to be fair, this promise works for survival. Bills get paid. Stress stays manageable. Nothing explodes. But here's the uncomfortable truth most people never confront. Safety doesn't create wealth. It only feels like it does. Most people confuse stability with progress. They're not actually moving forward. They're just not falling backward. And over time, that difference compounds. Ask yourself this. Honestly, if your income stopped tomorrow, how long would your safe plan really protect you? 6 months? A year? Less? That tension you just felt? That's the illusion cracking. Because once safety becomes the goal, your decisions stop asking, what grows my future? And start asking, what keeps things the same? And that subtle shift quietly reshapes everything. Point 2. The lifestyle upgrade loop. Middle-class success follows a familiar script. You earn more, so you upgrade your life. A better apartment, a nicer car, more convenience, more comfort. It doesn't feel reckless, because everyone around you is doing the exact same thing. But here's the trap hiding in plain sight. Every upgrade raises your baseline, not your freedom. Your lifestyle grows faster than your options. Your fixed costs rise. Your flexibility shrinks. Your margin disappears. You don't feel richer. You feel busier, more stressed, more committed. You call this progress. But progress that increases stress instead of freedom is just movement, not advancement. It's like running on a treadmill that speeds up every time you get better at running. You're working harder, just to stay in the same place. And once your lifestyle locks in, risk starts to feel dangerous. Not because it is, but because flexibility is gone. Point 3. Saving as a comfort blanket. Let's talk about saving. Saving feels responsible, disciplined, mature. And yes, saving matters. But here's where the middle-class mindset quietly misfires. Most people don't save to build wealth. They save to feel secure. Money becomes a comfort blanket, not a tool. Cash sits idle. Low-yield accounts feel calm. Numbers going up feel reassuring. Meanwhile, Inflation quietly erodes purchasing power every single year. No crash, no panic. Just slow, invisible loss. This isn't ignorance. It's fear wearing a suit and tie. Security feels like control, but it rarely creates growth. Let's be honest for a moment. If being careful actually worked, most middle-class people would be wealthy by now. They're not. And that's not an accident. Point 4. Waiting for certainty that never comes. Middle-class thinking loves certainty. I'll research more. I'll wait until things are clearer. I'll invest once I feel ready. It sounds responsible, measured, smart. But here's the problem. You will never feel ready. Markets won't feel safe. Timing won't feel perfect. Confidence won't magically arrive. Wealth doesn't reward people who wait for certainty. It rewards people who act with incomplete information. Not reckless people, decisive ones. And here's the part nobody tells you. Every year you wait doesn't just delay progress. It permanently lowers the ceiling of what's possible. Because time isn't neutral. It's either compounding for you or quietly working against you. And once enough time passes, even perfect decisions can't fully catch up. Point 5. Income pride, time blindness. Middle-class identity is deeply tied to income. How much do you make? What do you do? What's your title? Income becomes the scoreboard. But income without leverage is a treadmill. You trade time for money. And once your time is full, growth stops. Raises feel good. Promotions feel validating. But they don't change the equation. They just decorate it. Ask yourself this. If your effort stopped increasing, would your income still grow? If the answer is no, you're not building wealth. You're just being well paid. And this sets up the final trap. Point 6. The regret curve. Middle-class regret doesn't show up early. It doesn't appear at 25, or 30, or even 35. It arrives quietly in your 40s and 50s, when you realize you did everything right, but the math didn't work. You worked hard, you stayed careful, you avoided obvious mistakes, and yet freedom still feels just out of reach. The regret isn't dramatic. It sounds like a simple sentence. I thought I'd be further by now. And once that thought appears, time stops feeling like an ally. Unless something changes. Here's the escape. Wealth is not built by being careful with money. It's built by being intentional with risk. The middle class asks, how do I avoid losing? The wealthy ask, how do I create asymmetric outcomes? Same money, different lens. This isn't about gambling. It's about understanding that not acting is also a decision, and usually the most expensive one. Avoiding visible risk often guarantees invisible loss. Money doesn't reward comfort. It rewards clarity and the courage to act on it. Now that you see the trap, will you keep calling it safety? Or will you start treating money like a tool instead of a shield? Most people will hear this, nod, and go back to what feels familiar. But a few won't. And those few never stay middle class for long. The trap only works when you don't notice it. Now you do.